the beginning that you have made.
In May 2009, the European Championships are being held in the Ukraine. And I, Teddy Kaplan, will break that fucking world record.
It's early morning, and while most of the people his age have traded in athletics for bridge, 73-year-old Teddy is already on his way to another practice day for his next competition. Teddy got the sports fever early on in his childhood in South Africa.
I was born in South Africa to parents who came from Russia. My mother was very, very religious. On a Friday evening, my mother would make the Shabbos, the lights of Shabbat, and then at the end of the Kiddush, end of the talking, my father would slip out the house, go down to the neighbors and smoke a cigarette. I was 7 years old. At this school we had our annual track and field championships where we had to run 60 meters. It was on your marks, get set, go. And there was a bang, you know, a bang. And I heard this and I froze. And all the kids were running and I froze. And my schoolmaster shouted at me, "Run, Teddy, run, Teddy, run." So I started to run and I still won. That night, we happened to have a play at school, and the principal, he was standing at the exit of the hall and shaking hands with all parents. When my mother came to shake hands with him, he said to my mother, and I remember this distinctly, he said, "Mrs. Kaplan, if Teddy had here what he has here, he would be a genius." And that was the beginning, I reckon, the beginning of my sporting career. The years went by. I volunteered for the Israeli army in 1956, but my sights all the time was on 1964, the Olympic Games in Tokyo. I had to do it. I had to get the Olympic Games. And in 1964, we had the South African Championships in a place called Kimberley. So I was number one choice for the Olympic Games because of the apartheid policy in South Africa. They were thinking of banning South Africa from the Olympic Games. It happened that we were out. South Africa were expelled from the Olympic Games, and my dream, you know, my dream was stolen.
Teddy was determined to compete in the Olympic Games. After participating in the Maccabiah Games in 1969, he immigrated to Israel, intending to represent his new country at Munich in 1972.
I just had to be in the Olympics. I had to compete for the ticket to München against Romano. He won. He beat me, and he went to the Olympic Games. And the rest you know. The rest you know. The tragic end you are aware of.
The fact he never had the opportunity to compete in the Olympic Games only made Teddy more ambitious. Since 1986, he has made his mark as a world champion and record holder for weightlifting.
In 1981, I attended the World Track and Field Championships in Christchurch, New Zealand. I saw men of 46 and 56 and 66 and 76 and 86. I saw men, I just couldn't believe my eyes. You know, the fire in their eyes, the determination that they showed, the struggle, because now there's 150 meters to go, the struggle, fighting for position, not to get hooked in. You can get boxed in over there and then you're screwed. So fighting, that changed my life. And I came home after these championships, and in the morning I woke up, I sat on the edge of the bed and I put on my running shoes. And my wife said to me, hey, what you doing? What about going to work? I said to her, I first have got to run. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because exactly a year later, we were divorced. So sport also had its tragic side. And people ask me, you know, do I regret my decisions? I said, no, I don't regret. I would do it all over again. And I'm looking in your eyes, I'm looking in the camera's eyes, and I'm saying, I would do it over this one or this one. This one, I will do it all over again. Anytime.
If there is one thing that Teddy does not know how to do, it is to despair. Despite all the obstacles, he continues, and we can be sure that he hasn't entered his last competition just yet.
I'm going to live to age 105. That's number one. Second of all, I will be competing in 100 plus, and then I'm going to retire. And if I go, God forbid, if I go, it's got to be sprinting on the track. It's got to be going, see that's a finish line there, going hell for leather for the finish. Or lifting another 2 kilos to beat this guy. That's how I go. On the sports field, boom, quick, no suffering.